All right, we are going to jump right into our agenda this evening. First is the public comment. Chair to recognize a resident or taxpayer of the Sayre Area School District wishing to address the board about title programming or any other matter of concern or interest properly raised in public session. Please give your name and address and subject of your content that you will be addressing. It is requested that comments be kept to 3 minutes. Moreover, please note that comments relative to private student or employee matters should be directed to the superintendent outside of the meeting. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the board at this time? Okay, moving along to our special presentation tonight, we have members of the Sayre FBLA that will be sharing their recent accomplishments at the FBLA regional competition.
Good evening, members of the school board, administration, and guests. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak with you tonight. We are proud to represent Sayre FBLA and to share the growth, achievements, and impact our members have made so far this school year. We are excited to share that what we have accomplished thus far and our goals for the remainder of the year. This year has been one of exceptional growth for our chapter, particularly at the junior high level. We are excited to report that our junior high membership has increased by over 300%. This growth reflects increased student interest and enthusiasm for FBLA and the leadership opportunities it provides.
Community service continues to be at the heart of our organization. This year, our members donated over 500 items to Rusty Rail through a combination of a member competition and a collection booth at the Homecoming Carnival, which also raised funds to purchase additional donation items. These efforts highlight how strongly our members have embraced the FBLA pillar of community service. At the halfway point of the school year, Sayre FBLA members have already logged over 500 community service hours, and we are incredibly excited to see how much that number continues to grow by the end of the year. In addition, we are currently working towards $1,000 donation goal for this year's FBLA state project, Feeding Pennsylvania. To support this cause, we are hosting Sayre FBLA's 3rd annual Penny Wars competition, as well as the staff dress down days. We would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the staff members who have participated. Your support has played a significant role in helping us move closer to this goal. We also have additional fundraisers planned as we continue our efforts to support this important cause. We also continue our cherished annual tradition of Christmas at Snyder, where our members visit elementary classrooms to lead holiday-themed activities with younger students. This year, the event was especially meaningful as our growing program allowed us to officially add 5th grade to our roster. Because of our increased membership, we expand the number of classrooms we visited, allowing us to reach even more students and strengthen connections across grade levels.
Our senior high members have also experienced tremendous success through FBLA this year. They recently attended the Regional Leadership Conference, where they competed in events, attended workshops, networked with other chapters, and learned from our regional leadership team. Our members truly showed up and showed out. 26 of our 28 competitors placed in the top 5 in their events, and 17 members qualified for the State Leadership Conference in April. We are especially proud to share that Sayre FBLA brought back its Region 27 representation, as Joelle Mullen was elected as the 2026-2027 Region 27 Treasurer. We are excited to see the impact she will make across the region, and she will also travel with us to the State Leadership Conference as a representative of Region 27. Looking ahead, our junior high members are currently preparing for their own regional conference in March. We are eager to see their continued success and hope to take them to the State Leadership Conference in Hershey as well. None of these opportunities would be possible without the continued support of our administration and staff. We would like to extend a special thank you to Ms. Denise Quattrini, who went above and beyond to ensure we were able to attend our conference when an unexpected situation arose. We would also like to thank Mr. Claypool and Mr. Wells for their assistance and support during that time. Finally, we would like to thank you, the members of the school board, for your unwavering support of FBLA and for providing students with opportunities to grow as leaders, professionals, and engaged members of our community. It is because of your support and the advisors of the present and past that we are excited to share that Sarah FBLA is celebrating 30 years as a PA FBLA chaplain. Over the past 3 decades, countless students have developed leadership skills, explored career pathways, and given back to our community through FBLA. Thank you for your time and continued support of Sarah FBLA.
Great job, ladies, thank you so much. Any questions for them before we move on?
Good job.
All right, moving into our consent agenda. Number 2A, the minutes. Recommend the board approve the minutes as presented. 3A, field trips. Motion to approve the list of field trips as presented. Letter B, the conference request. Motion to approve the conference request as presented. Letter C, the 26-27 school year calendar. Motion to approve the final 2026-2027 school year calendar as presented. Number 4, finance, the treasurer's report. Motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented. Letter B, tax collector's report. Motion to approve the tax collector's report from November 2025 as presented. Letter C, Berkheimer Act 32. Motion to approve the Berkheimer Act 32 tax report as presented. Letter D, transfers. Motion to approve the transfer for January as presented. Letter E, purchase of new equipment. Motion to approve the purchase of a new oven for the high school cafeteria from Singer Equipment Company. The cost is not to exceed $40,000. Number 5A, athletics and recreation personnel. Motion to approve the athletics and recreation personnel as presented. Number 6, employment. Motion to approve the district personnel request as presented. Do we have a motion and a second on the consent agenda items?
So move. Second.
Any questions or comments on the items acknowledged? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Great. Moving on to roll call items. Letter A, the bills. Motion to approve the bills as presented.
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? Given there are none, Mrs. Pacheco, can I have a roll call, please?
We'll begin with Mrs. Agnew. Yes, except I abstain on number 1, please. Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Petrini?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Skirfon?
Yes.
Mrs. Black?
Yes. All right, down to reports. High school principal's report, Mrs. Ely.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to make mention that tomorrow is the last day of quarter 2, believe it or not. We had our December Artist of the Month named, Amaya Southworth, so congratulations to her. We had our professional development day today. It was well-attended and very worthwhile. We had Stop the Bleed training, we learned about AI, and we had an informational session through the county called In Plain Sight, so thank you to all the presenters who came in today. The winter ball was a lot of fun. Saturday evening, the kids danced and enjoyed themselves. Royalty of the night was chosen by students, so the prince and princess were named Kaishan Cole and Olivia Thompson, and the king and queen were Jackson Nichols and Maddie Weibert. Congrats to them. I also want to thank John Johnson for volunteering his time to DJ for us and the wonderful chaperones that spent their night in the Enchanted Forest. Huge thank you to Tara Ramsey, who's behind me, for once again planning and executing a memorable experience for our students. Earlier on Saturday, our high school students were really busy before the dance, and I had a lot of congratulatory notes for them. So the forensics team went to Mount Markham and they competed. Maddie Weibert came in first and Iris Cohan came in second in their respective events. Olivia Thompson was part of a freestyle relay team that set a school record at the Invitational in Tunkhannock. The boys basketball team got a win on Saturday against Canton, and McKenna Rubelo placed second at the wrestling tournament in Du Bois as well. So it was a big day for all of our kids. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Elementary school principals report, Mrs. Morales.
Mrs. Blight, before you go with that, could I just back up to the bills? I need to abstain on 17 and 21 through 24.
Perfect. Mrs.
Okay,
Pacheco.
just for the record,
Yes,
I
yep.
I apologize.
That's okay. Mrs. Pacheco has a form for you.
So, we had our annual federal programs meeting on January 13th in order to prepare for the 26-27 school year. Congratulations to Eli Montgomery, Ardrana Music, and Parker Mann. We had a fifth and sixth grade assembly. The Grand Poobah from the Sarah Elks came to award these students for their Drug Awareness Writing Contest Awards. So we are very excited to have 3 winners with that. The Polar Pop Dance is this Friday, January 23rd. Funds are being raised for the actual Polar Pop to benefit Bradford County Special Olympics. Our interim coach update, our last session was on 1/8, and there will be a group in Zoom training in the near future. They'll also be here at some point in February to present a training on our CDTs. And just to note that Mrs. White, our beloved teacher at Snyder, passed away recently. She was someone who encouraged kids to never give up, was always there to encourage them, and always had a lighthearted moment even in the most serious of times, and she will be greatly missed. So just if you have a thought or two, please let her family know of those wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Morales. Director of Student and Academic Affairs, Mr.
So, I didn't realize, really a football game or something tonight. So this is a little bit of a presentation, so I'll try to go quick, pay attention. One thing that I wanted to point out to you guys, this is a public site. State rolled this out a few years ago. It's called PA Future Ready Index. And what I like about it, it looks at a lot of different measures, and it doesn't look at just one set test score from one date or one time. And the other piece of that is, especially with our smaller class sizes or smaller grade levels, just a few kids can have a huge impact on a grade level, scoring better or not performing quite as well. And that, I think I've told this group that before, we really have to watch that. So I'm going to walk through some data from Snyder and from the high school. But again, one of the things that I like about this report, and I'm going to jump in here. So this is our Snyder ELA. The dotted line, orange dotted line, that is a statewide average. And for most of these scores, if you look down here, you'll see them as numbers. They have dropped since COVID, and very few school districts have recovered. Okay, especially if the elementary kids or elementary age, we know that's their formative years, and they did not have the experiences. We're seeing that right now in K and 1, the 5 and 6-year-olds who really, missed some of the developmental opportunities. Dayton's personal opinion, it's going to take us a while to dig out of that. It really is, and we're just going to have to be patient and work at it. Michelle and I have had the conversations with the elementary staff. The kids aren't the same as they were pre-COVID, and it's just a fact. We have to work through that. But you can see our lines, because we don't have much demographic, our line is usually it's yellow and white, yellow and red together. That's our all student and our white, because we don't have too many ethnicities other than white. And then they'll also track our economically disadvantaged and our students with disabilities. We don't always have enough students with disabilities at every grade level. You have to have at least 11 kids for it to show up on this graph. Okay? And that's why you see insufficient samples down here. What I like this is to look over time, and like I said, we acknowledge our achievement hasn't been where we wanted it to be since COVID, but that's statewide. So we'll take a look at math as well. And you guys, if somebody has more questions about this, feel free to reach out. I'll sit down with you individually, or you can go to this site as well. So here's our math performance. And you can see we dipped a little bit post-COVID, but it's kind of leveled out. The other thing that we have to realize, and that I just want to remind the group, last year we put in a new math program, and it generally takes a year or two for the teachers to learn that, as well as, they're learning it while they're still teaching the kids. And this year we did the new reading series. So I do expect to see a little bit of a plateau for a year or so, but I would expect to see this jump a little bit headed into our testing this spring. And again, state averages have dropped. There's also a science score. In this case, our averages are well above the state average. You can see the state average here, and we've been up here. There is no score for 24-25 because they moved the test from 4th grade to 5th grade, so we don't have a baseline yet. So we just took it to participate and to basically test the test. And then the other part that I like about this, so that's our achievement scores, but then we also look at our growth scores, and these can fluctuate from year to year. The state has a pretty robust statistical model that predicts where kids are going to score based on all of our academic history, the students' history, and it's pretty accurate. It's called PVAS, which is what you'll see up here. It's not another test. It's a statistical, I can say that, statistical model. And that one's for ELA. Here you can see our, and again, some ups and downs with the drop there right post-COVID in 21-22, which is, again, we're mirroring the state model. And then science, we didn't get a score this year because of the field test. So then I'm just going to jump over. Like I said, doesn't just focus on state test scores. Those are only one piece. Okay. If you were to look at state test scores, they're not going to tell you that our girls basketball team went out and adopted an angel tree and took care of a family, including an Xbox. So some of that stuff I like because this looks at everything. English language learners, we do have more than we used to, but we don't have enough to be considered here. But I did want to look, our attendance at the elementary level regularly exceeds the state average by quite a bit. And the 7th grade does not apply. And you can see they look at 3rd grade reading. 3rd grade reading is one of the indicators of how successful a student's going to be all the way up through 12th grade. I also wanted to jump over and take a look at high school for a second. Again, we start with, and in this case, the elementary would be achievement scores are 3rd through 6th grade, so there's no K-1-2 data. And in this case, this would be ELA performance on by our 7th and 8th graders, as well as our Keystone literature. And you can see here's the state average. We dipped a little bit, and then we came back up to the state average this year. I think we're off by, it's a little fuzzy to me, by 1 point, which is statistically pretty close. It's our ELA. Here's our math. I also like that this allows us to look at multiple years. This would be our algebra and 7th and 8th grade math scores. And you can see we were pretty flat, and then we've come up a little bit in the last 2 years. Science, this is 8th grade science, and our biology. We were right at the state average last year. We dropped just a little bit this year. Or, I'm sorry, that's 23, 24. We didn't have one this year because of the waiver participation. When we go to our growth, which is again our PVAS scores, we've really seen some good growth since post-COVID. And this is interesting because there was a big dip COVID-wise, but the high school kids, older kids have been able to rebound faster than younger kids. With those, obviously because they had a stronger foundation and didn't miss some of the foundation skills. So that is 100%. And I did confirm with one of the PVAS leads from the state, that is not an error. That is accurate. So kudos to those guys. And ELA, here's math. Slacking off, we only got a 99. You can see some pretty good growth. Our growth scores have really kind of bumped up. Biology, did I just do biology? That has historically been very, very good. 8th grade science and biology. This is pretty good to stay above 80. There's one little dip there into the upper 70s. And then the other part, we'll look at on-track measures for the high school. Again, we don't have enough English language learners. Our attendance is, again, well above the state average. I know we do have, some chronic truancy kids, but overall, our attendance has been very good. And college and career measures, this is our chapter 339, which is our Mrs. Schreiber, and when we are monitored by the state, when they come in and check to see that we're giving the test correctly, they look to see how we're doing with this, and they pull a few kids' folders, and they look at Mike's and Brian's and make sure everything's in there. We have to have certain pieces of evidence for various grade levels. High school graduation rates, even though IDEA says that kids can stay until they're 22, we get dinged if somebody stays past 4 years, which is why we participate in the State Systemic Improvement Plan, or SSIP team. Kimberly and Trish, myself, Mrs. Ramsey, hey, we could have a team meeting. Sit down and we strategize and try to keep kids from dropping out. It's not perfect, we don't catch everyone, but I think Mr. Wells gave you guys a report on the scorecard last month on that, about how it is, overall I think it has been a successful program. And they also count if kids take 5 years to graduate. What was it? Oh, the other piece that I was going to point out that I thought was pretty telling, and this is a little higher, we have 13% of our kids have enlisted in the military. I've seen a little jump in that in the past few years. And I think it's just kids are scared to go to college because it's so expensive. All right, that was the speed version. Do you guys have any questions? This is a public site. If you go here, I don't know, for a reload, you just type in Sarah and you can pull us up and see us. You can actually select different years, and you can compare schools. I think up to 3 at a time.
And Mike, I guess, not really to be answered here. I think what would be great to see is kind of the plan around this, right? From a board perspective. This is a lot of data, and data is good, but I start looking at it and start asking the question, why? Why? I mean, we can accept that the fact that the state average is one thing and we're doing one thing, but when we look at ourselves, ask the question why. So for example, just a quick question. Our attendance is significantly better than state average. Why is our performance better? I mean, if our kids are in classroom Why aren't they improving at a faster rate? So it's those kind of questions, digging in, looking at the, not just looking at one set of data, looking at the combinations of the information, and what's it telling? And then the question out of that is, okay, what are we gonna do about it, right? What's different? Why are our science scores significantly higher than some of the others? Is it staff? Is it the teaching method? Is it, all those questions, that's really, I think, and we haven't talked about that a lot, but that's really what's important for us as an organization to really understand, and then say, where are we gonna be in 5 years? And start measuring ourselves against achieving that, and if year to year we don't, then we gotta ask why, and what are we gonna do? That's more important than anything we do. And we don't talk about it.
Just to piggyback on Mr. Sturpant's comments, I was looking at the data, and of course, if you drill down on the data, you can arrive at some things that you want to arrive at, where, if we're being honest with what's going on, looking at the elementary mathematics, for example, obviously, up there at Snyder School, and I don't know, Mrs. Brown can answer that, or somebody else could, do we just have one teacher in 5th and 6th grade teaching math? And now when they come to the high school, it's a little bit different because we do have just math teachers, they're not teaching a variety of subjects. And I'm wondering if that makes a difference. Like years ago, I'm not even positive of this, but so it's a statement per se and a question. I remember Mrs. Rounds, right? She was a phenomenal math teacher. I have no idea what the scores compared to everyone else then. And is that something that we need to look at, or is that something that's gone on? Because if our math scores are not very good, and I'm not saying they aren't very good, but should they not be very good, that goes hand in hand with science and other things. So we talked about in different gatherings about what is our focus and what's our future outlook. So that kind of is a question. It's a statement, obviously, but it's a question. What focus do we have for each of those areas where we are deficient? Do we have a committee? Do we have the administration tell us what's going to happen next? I don't know. I mean, data is great, but for us, what are we really going to look at doing? Especially for me, I'm just looking at the math thing. That hit me when we were a little low and across the state average, but we really didn't increase in math. And now the 7th and 8th graders are coming in here, and how are we doing with that, I guess?
So, being here only 6 months, I can't speak to exactly what takes place here at Sarah, for sure. But in 6th grade, we do have just one math teacher to teach all those students. At the other grade levels, all the grade level teachers, usually 3 in most situations, all teach math and ELA. The research shows there's a mixed bag in both directions. I don't know if there's one that's a clear-cut winner when it comes to that. But definitely, getting new curriculum, I think, can help in those areas for sure. And like Mr. Hendrick said, it will take a few years for sure to see whether that's working or not. Anytime you implement a new curriculum, especially if you're implementing it K through 6, there's stuff that those students who are taking that test in 5th grade that they missed out on in that new curriculum in K 1, 2, 3, and all the way through. So it definitely takes time to look at that new curriculum and that piece. When it comes to the science piece, I believe, this is my opinion, but all the districts that are in Bradford County, all the science scores are extremely high. So in my opinion, it's probably going to be where we live. I would guess that every school district in Bradford County and Tioga County, all are above state average in science.
And you talked, that's the other piece that I didn't say, but he talked about the new curriculum, which, we're 1 year into the new curriculum at Snyder?
6 months.
6 months, okay, so we really don't have much data to go by, but, so is that one teacher teaching just the math in that curriculum, or do we have 4 different teachers or 5 different teachers for math?
Which grade?
Say, 6th grade.
So 6th grade is the only grade that's departmentalized. There's one teacher that teaches math, 2 right now that teach ELA, the other teachers are ready for one teaches science and social studies. 5th grade now, they're grouped by homeroom, so each teacher teaches each subject.
So 5th grade down, they all kind of do a little bit of all of it.
5th grade, they stack. Like if you're with Mrs. Lathrop, you have her for reading, math, science, social studies. You don't go anywhere else. You go to 6th grade, that's when you start to rotate. But I think
on your comment, I think some of us older folks might have a opinion on that, how they break it down, because how many times have parents said, they didn't do math like that when I was in school, or even grandparents who are now parenting a lot of our kids.
Yep.
So I get what you're saying with that, but the second thing is with the curriculum change, was that something driven by the administration, was it driven by the math teachers, was it driven by the state, I'm just going along the lines of some of the things we talked
Go
about.
ahead, Dave.
Yeah, that would be both. The
Okay.
teachers wanted, yeah. We came to the end of a cycle with Go Math, and we were not happy with it. And so we evaluated, it took over a year to pick that, with a team of teachers and administrators, and, it was a pretty rigorous process. And we did the same thing with reading. It was,
And with reading, it's also the state with the science reading, and the
Yes.
series had to match the science reading, which is pushed by the state.
That's why, being new, I mean, you're trying to learn what got us here, or why were we there, and as Mr. Skirpon said, the focus, wasn't a focus, and obviously you saw an issue, and now the focus is to try and improve that, and that's why you changed the curriculum, I take it. So it was a combined effort, I guess, between administration, teachers, and everybody looked at it and said, well, we might have a problem here. Thank you.
Something else to remember too is that each of those percentages, each student is worth over 1.5%. And the achievement scores are measuring whether the student is proficient or not. So if like 3 more students or 4 more students were not proficient one year to the next, out of a little over 60 per grade level, it's making a difference whether they make that state average or not. Low numbers are just each kid is worth a lot.
Anything else?
Thanks, Dave.
yep.
Thank you, Dayton. PSBA report, Mr. Cole.
Here it comes. PSBA report, first of all. Okay, I got it. Okay, I just want to give everybody a heads up that coming up on February the 3rd, Governor Shapiro is going to be giving his state budget proposal. And following off, PSBA is going to have some preliminary coverage. Also, on February the 6th, if anyone is interested, at 12 noon, the Government Affairs of PSBA will be hosting a webinar that will go into more of a detail on that budget. So if anyone's interested, you can go into your MyPSBA and register for that. Second of all, if you haven't taken notice, there is a new setup for the news that is coming through on your emails. Mondays is the board brief for Public Education News Digest. Tuesdays, the countdown for public education video updates. They're about 4 minutes long. And Wednesday, the PSBA works for you. And then on Fridays, there's another section, and obviously it didn't print out for me, but again, if you happen to be getting those emails, be expecting to see a new format there. And also coming up on, let's see here, it's coming up in February the 23rd, 12 noon, they're going to have a program on improving wireless connectivity for Pennsylvania school districts. And I'll give you more information on that come February. And that's everything from PSBA. So I'll continue on with the Career
Absolutely.
Center. Let's move on. Want to let everyone know that the Skills USA students will be attending the district competition January 29th and 30th at Penn College. There'll be 45 students that will be participating in that. The 26-27 homeschool district tours took place back in December, where grades 5, 8, 9, and 10 of all the school districts got together, and there was 1,300 students that took care of that. But the most important thing is that the students took care of all 1,300 students that did attend that seminar. Also, the budget is out. We okayed that a $2.9 million budget for 26-27 is on the way for next year for the Career Center. We'll be paying a share of $251,108, which is a decrease of just a little bit over $6,000. Basically, I can tell you that 75% of the share is from the census of our school district, and 25% is the seat quota that is down there at the Career Center. And last but not least, I want to make mention that March 5th, it's demonstration night. 6 o'clock till 7:30 p.m. If you really want to see how the Career Center operates, this is the place to be on March the 5th at 6 p.m. I'll get more into that also in February. So we'll hand it back to you there, Mrs. Blank.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Committee reports. Any of the committee chairs that would like to report this evening? Okay. Moving along, board president's report. I just would like to take a second and congratulate all of the academic successes and athletic achievements from our students across the district. It is remarkable to see how much these kids achieve day over day, hour over hour. They're really a bunch of wonderful students. So congratulations to all of them for everything they do every day. And just to piggyback off of Mrs. Morrell, on behalf of the board, really, our sincere condolences to Mrs. White's family. I wasn't lucky enough to know her personally, but she has left a tremendous mark on our community, and she will be sorely missed. That is it for me. Mr. Wells.
Okay, just a few things this evening. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Hander for his presentation for the board this evening. I also want to take this opportunity to thank our school board. January is School Board Appreciation Month. And I want to thank each of you up here for all that you do throughout the school year, for our school district and for our students. It's not an easy job, and there's no pay for it. So I do appreciate all that you do, and I know the community does as well. So thank you very much. We are looking at entering into a consortium for some AI professional development. So I want to make the board aware of that. There will be some training for myself, the principals, and some teachers possibly. At minimal, if any, charge at all. So hopefully that gets started here in the spring and will last during the summer as well. So hopefully it gets some professional development and continue to move forward in how we use AR here at SARE. The last thing that I want to make you aware of is Act 44. There has been a change with the new budget that was signed by Governor Shapiro in Act 44, which has stated in law that when there is an incident with a weapon on school property, on school transportation, or at a school-sponsored event, that has to be reported to all staff and parents. So there will be a letter going out tomorrow, Facebook, email, text to all of our parents here in the district, just letting them know that if there is a weapon found, if there is an incident with a weapon here at school, school transportation, or a school-sponsored event, that they will be notified of that through email and text. So I just want to make you aware of that. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. For future meetings, our next SARE Area Board of Directors meeting will be held February 2nd in the high school library beginning at 7 p.m. And does anyone have anything else they would like to bring before the board before we adjourn? Wonderful. Can I have a motion and a second?